I have just the snack for you. Yummy, gooey, ooey, yet healthy snack. And you're probably wondering, that can't be possible. Well, yes, it is. I make it all the time. And it's so easy that your kids can do it with you. So come on in the kitchen and bake with me, okay? See you then. So hey, welcome to my little kitchen here. I'm going to show you how to make this yummy, gooey, ooey, healthy snack for you and the family. And it's really simple. It doesn't take long at all. It's something that I've been eating for years, and I actually got it out of this book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. Years ago, back in 2010, I started doing this, and this snack has been really, really good for me. So I'm going to show you how to make this snack. I have all the ingredients here. I'm going to put them in the description in this video, and we're going to go ahead and bake up this wonderful snack called a granola, maple granola snack. And you can actually have it as a cereal in the morning, or you can have it as a parfait, but we're going to do that in just one moment. So the first thing you're going to do, of course, you have your measuring tools and materials. So here it takes 4 cups of rolled oats, but I use 3 because it's only me and I don't want to have a huge amount of it. So I have already placed, and so I have mine there. And then it takes 1 cup of rice bran or oat bran, and so I use here the oat bran, and it takes 1 cup. And so what I do is I only use a 1/2 cup of the oat bran, and I actually fill it to the top, put it in there. Now the key and the trick to this is that when you have your oat bran and your oats in there, it's time for you to mix them up with a wooden spoon. Get them all mixed up first before you put any of the other ingredients in there. And so just mix them up, get it all mixed up, and then you'll be ready to go with your next ingredient. All right, now that you have your oats and your oat bran mixed together so that it's binding, once you put the liquid ingredients in there, what you're going to do is the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put in a 1/2 cup of dried cranberries. And so I like the sweetened dried cranberries, and they are organic. And so what I do is I use a 1/2 cup, put that in there, and I mix it together. And what I do is I try to get the cranberries coated with the oat bran and the oats. Put those in there, and then what it does is it takes a 1/2 cup of currants, dried currants, but I like to use raisins in mine. And so that's a 1/2 cup of raisins, which I love, high in iron. And then the next thing it takes a cup of walnuts. Now for me, I'm allergic to walnuts, and so what I do is I use organic pecans. And so a cup of pecans, and what I do is I normally will use my nut machine where it will grind up the nuts for me and chop them up. But what I do, and just to let you know, if you don't have that as adults, no children to do this, I will take and I will actually chop up my nuts, or I'll buy a bag of already chopped pecans so that I can put them in my mixture. And so once I do that, I just take my pecans, put them in there, and I mix up my wonderful dry ingredients. So now that we have all of our dry ingredients mixed together, it's now time for us to add our liquid ingredients. And so there's, of course, our liquid measuring cup. And the next thing it takes for this, the key to this is to take your liquid ingredients and mix them in here. So what I do is, and it takes 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I use, and then it also takes a cup of canola oil, organic granola oil, but I don't use canola because I cannot have that, so I use olive oil. You can also use pecan oil, but it's rare to find that. Also, and it takes 3/4 cup of maple syrup, and so this is what I use. Sometimes you can actually use the agave and the raw honey, mix that together so that it's a little loose, and it can spread and make its way around and distribute correctly. But I choose to use the grade A golden color maple syrup in mine. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's get started on our liquid ingredients. So it takes, I've already put 1/4 cup of olive oil in my liquid measuring cup. It takes 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I love vanilla extract, and so I kind of go overboard though. But I put that in my oil actually because what I want is I want it to be evenly distributed in my dry mixture as I am drizzling the oil over the dry mixture. And so what I do is I take it, it's in there, and so I just kind of mix it around just like that. Let it mix up with the oil. It's in little beads and balls in there. And so now it's time for me to drizzle my oil over my oats, my pecans, my raisins, my cranberries, my oat bran. And I only do half of it first. And I mix it up so that it can kind of cover some of it. And then I'll go back and add the remaining portion of my vanilla extract and my oil. All right, so we're gonna get to that yummy, yummy syrup in a moment. All right, so now that I have the oil and vanilla extract evenly distributed over my dry ingredients, it's now time for me to put the best part of this, and that's the maple syrup. I actually love this. You can get the darker version of it. It's the amber. All of it is great. And it calls for 3/4 cup if you use all of the regular measures. I still use 3/4 cup because I love yummy and I love gooey. And so that makes this much more delicious and tasty. So makes it tastier. So we're going to pour this over here, evenly distributed over our dry ingredients. I only do half for the first part. I get it all stirred together. I'm excited about this. I get it covered. And now, the last part. More syrup, healthy syrup. Okay, so now we're ready to spread everything out on our baking sheet. And what I do is I put parchment paper. Parchment paper is excellent for baking because if you have especially cookies or sticky ingredients, it won't burn as easily and it won't stick to your pan. Also, it will help bake your ingredients and your product very well. So all I do is I just take my granola mixture with the rubber spatula is key, because that way you can get all of the ingredients out of that bowl. And the rubber spatula helps also with sticky products. So I just evenly spread it out to the edges of my cookie or baking sheet. Make sure that it is spread out evenly so that it can bake. And once it bakes and I pull it out of the oven, I let it cool on my cooling rack. It can then, I break it up and I put it in a glass jar. That's key. Put it in a glass jar, because if you put it in plastic, it's not going to keep well. It's going to have a really nasty taste to it, for a lack of better terms. It's not going to taste good at all after about 2 days if you put it in plastic. So put it in a glass container such as this. I put mine in a glass container like this, and I seal it with around the edges. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so I baked the granola for about it called for 90 minutes, but I baked mine for about an hour, and it came out a little darker than what I wanted, but let me show you. So it's gonna be great, and it looks good. So what it is I'm going to now take it, and I'm going to place the granola on my cooling rack. And so these little cooling racks I got for probably in a pack of 3 for about $9. And so what you're going to do is, you'll see I have it sitting on my cooling rack, and what I'm going to do is allow it to cool. Once it cools, I will take it, break it up, and I'm going to put it in my glass container here. And once I put it in my glass container, I seal it and let it just sit on the counter for, normally it'll last about 4 days without it becoming stale or having a really interesting taste to it. And sometimes I'll eat it as a snack, just pop it in my mouth while I'm teleworking. Or what I'll do is I'll pour some almond milk over it and eat it like a cereal. So I'll let you see how it looks in my container. I'm excited. Okay, so I'm super excited. It's finished. Everything is ready. So I covered it with wax paper just to kind of cover it and let it cool off. But now I'm going to break it up and put it in my glass container, and it's going to be ready to eat. So all I do is, let's see if you can see. Let's move you a little closer to me. Yes, get a little closer to me. Okay, and all I do is I take it and I fold it. That's it. Fold it, break it up like that. And I just pick it up. I'm the only one eating this. I wash my hands.